like 25 pounds when the new year was coming, and then Planet Fitness gave you your $10 back. Right? We have to remember growth, and this is where our discipline enters. We often pray for spiritual growth while resisting spiritual habits. We want maturity without prayer. We want wisdom without the word. We want peace without surrender. We want victory without consistency. But we have to remember, God will grow it if we're willing to cultivate it. When we think about a garden, now I told y'all last week, every plant my husband's ever given me dead. I even took it to plant people, and they were like, listen, there ain't nothing I could do for you. It's beyond what I can bring back. I think the weeds in the backyard are dead, just in case I go back there and try to do something, right? Planting is not my area of expertise, but it is the area for illustration today. When we think about a garden, nobody plants a seed on Monday and digs it up on Tuesday and says, where's the cucumbers? Right? Or where's the tomatoes? Or where's the basil? Stay away from that lettuce. Notice I didn't say no lettuce up here. Dr. Prescott, I warned them, if they eat it, they can't say the church didn't warn them. But you don't go the next day and ask, why hasn't anything grown yet? Because the gardener waters it, protects it, and trusts the process. Growth takes time, just as, and so does spiritual maturity. Not everything that has come through belongs in your next season. But there are some things that the Lord did preserve. Your purpose, your calling, your testimony, your relationship with Him, and what God preserves, He expects to grow. And that's our growth area number 3. God expects what He preserved to grow. Hebrews 5:12-14, it's a little bit of the scripture on my screen. It says, for though by this time you ought to be teachers. And that scripture basically goes on to say, at some point we got to move from milk to solid food. Basically, we got called a bunch of babies, a bunch of newborns. So that verse was a challenge, because the writer says something that makes us uncomfortable. He says, by this time. So by this time, you ought to be further, not perfect, but further. Not finished, but growing. Not without struggles, but stronger. God is not standing over us and saying, duh, 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 right? That's not what I'm saying He's doing, right? He's not standing over us with this level of disappointment, but He is standing over us with expectation, like a loving father says. He says, I know what I placed inside of you. I know what I've carried you through. I know what I preserved, so now it's time for you to grow. That's what Hebrews is teaching us. God isn't asking, did you survive? Because He already knows you did. You're here. If you woke up this morning, then God knows you survived. Whether you woke up with the situation fully handled, He knows that you're survived. It's not a surprise to Him. You're sitting here, you're breathing, you're worshiping, you're standing. But the question isn't, did you survive? The question now is, What are you doing with what was preserved? God preserved it. Now, what are you going to do with it? Because not everything that came through the fire was preserved by God. Some things simply followed you out because you never surrendered them. So some of those things that we are leaving in the ashes, the fear, the bitterness, the pride, that offense. Yes, that offense. Get that offense in your mind. Whatever that offense is, leave it in the ashes. The shame, the comparison, the people pleasing, all of those things we're going to leave in the ashes so that God can grow what he preserved. Our faith, our purpose, our calling, our testimony, our worship, our relationship with him, our compassion are all preserved. But many of us need to plant the seeds of growth. He preserved your ability to love again. He preserved your capacity to hope again. And we have to remember what God preserved, he expects to grow. Say that with me. What God preserves,